Who are the Madrigals and what makes them special?
The Madrigal family is a family that lives in a house, in a magical house deep in the hills of Colombia. And they were given a miracle. The abuela was given a miracle. And through this miracle, they live in this magical house. And each of them, when they're young, they are given a magical gift. Every single one that is born into the family is given a gift, whether it's the gift to heal, the gift to see the future, the gift to um, control the weather. Everyone except for one, Mirabel.
Okay, Clark, that goes right into our next question. Who is Maribel and why is she unique within her family?
Mirabelle is a 15-year-old member of a family of 3 generations. And she is at that age where she's trying to understand how she fits in within a family that everyone has a magical gift. And she's the only kid who didn't get a magical gift. And for her, she's trying to understand that piece of it. And I think what I love about this character is she's incredibly lovable. Her heart is always in the right place. She's trying so hard, but she's also a bit flawed because she's trying to figure out something that she's going to learn is all internal and that she already knows herself over the course of the film.
Yvette, explain how when each child discovers what his or her gift will be and provide some examples of these gifts and how they benefit the whole community.
So when when they turn 5 on their 5th birthday, a door appears in this magical house. And there is their gift ceremony where they open the door and the magic is revealed. Their door is designed in a certain way. The magic comes through in their door and they open up the door to this amazing room. And the room always kind of goes along with the gift. For example, we see Antonio in the film where he gets his door and immediately a toucan lands on his arm and he's able to communicate with animals. What an amazing gift. And he goes into this room, which is based on he goes into this room which was inspired by the Chocó rainforest, and he has this beautiful tree and this beautiful room with all these different animals come in from the Encanto and come in and live in Antonio's room.
Clark, explain how filmmakers determine what these special gifts might be and how they connect to people or family members we all know.
So there was a lot of thought given to what would the gifts be for these family members. And it really was trying to figure out how do we use these gifts in a way that are going to help tell the story. So each family member has a gift that helps support this community. It might be the gift of strength, could be the gift of putting beautiful flowers around. It can be the gift of being able to see the future, or a gift of being able to shape shift into different people to help solve problems in the moment in time. But what we needed to do is figure out how do we make that relatable, because in our world, people don't have those magical gifts. And so what we really did was dive into what are sort of those characteristics of families. There's always the character, the person who's the strong one of the family, the kind of rock of the family. There's the one who's the golden child who everything seems to be perfect for. There's the one who can hear everything, a little bit of the gossip of the family, or the one who thinks they can see the future, but has always seen something in the negative side of things, or the one who's the healer, or the one who's the emotional one. So we really tried to put it into those areas where people could relate directly to it and say, I feel I am most like that individual. And it's not about their gift, it's truly about what they represent within this family.
I'm going to come to you one more time, Clark. Describe how family is a key theme in this film and how we see each other and how we are seen.
Family is at the core of this film, and it always was. From the very beginning, Byron and Jared talked about wanting to tell a story about family. and knowing what an important part that is within the culture of Latin America and obviously within the country of Colombia. It is at the core of this film. It's a 3-generation family that all lives within one house where everyone has their part within the family. And for Mirabel, she's the one character who didn't get a gift. She's trying to figure out how she belongs within this family. And I think what the film explores is the fact that we all think we know our family members, but we actually probably don't unless we've spent time asking them questions. And it really is about perspective and understanding. And over the course of the film, we learn a lot more about these characters that is under the surface, things that they haven't been expressing outwardly. And that's the journey that Mirabel goes on. And from that, the family becomes stronger. And I think that really is the theme of the film is through perspective and understanding, we become stronger as a family.
Generally speaking, how would you describe the voice cast of Encanto? And specifically, what does Stephanie Beatriz bring to Mirabel?
The voice cast of Encanto we feel like we are fortunate to work with this amazing team of actors. And there's so many, each of these characters, they live on the page and they live in the boards, but once we actually hire the voice cast and they bring their talent to these characters, it's where we really see the characters come to life. And it has been so amazing to work with these characters for so long. And once we get those voices in there, whether it's Wilmer Valderrama with Agustin, or Jessica Darrow with Luisa, or Diane Guerrero with Isabella, it's really such a huge part and such an exciting part of the film to see these characters really start coming to life. With Stephanie Beatriz, so Stephanie Beatriz is our Mirabel and is amazing at it. She came in and really has so much. She brings so much to this character, whether it's her improv, she would read what's on the page and she's like, oh, can I try this? And bring great improv and comedy to the character. And really, she would be vulnerable and really in the softest, most delicate moments in the film, really being able to go there. And then she sang, and she has this amazing singing voice, and who knew that she could sing like that? And it was been such a gift to have her on the show and for her to be our Mirabel. She truly is our Mirabel.
This is to you, Yvette, again. Explain the process of working with Lin-Manuel Miranda and the kinds of songs he wrote for Encanto. Do you have a favorite?
Working with Lin-Manuel Miranda has been such a treat. I was fortunate enough to work on Moana, and so I got a little glimpse into working with him on that film. But what was special about Encanto is Lin-Manuel came on very early on in the process, and it's not typical that we have our songwriter on so early on. And so he, because he had worked with Jared on Moana and formed this great relationship, and when Byron and Jared talked about doing a musical, Lin, of course, was the right person to bring on. And he was on so early, he was able to go on the research trip with them and really kind of immerse himself in the Colombian culture. And so he's been involved in every single screening that we do, really involved in the story. We would meet with him on a very regular basis and keeping him updated on what was going on in the story. And he would talk about ideas that he had for song or even for story. And it was such a great collaborative effort with all of us kind of coming together to talk about the songs. And in regards to his song, Lin-Manuel is Lin-Manuel. He's a musical genius, and so it's not. There's no question on kind of when he would deliver a song. We're like, oh, it was such a treat to get it and to be able to listen to what he was able to deliver to the different songs. But every single time a song would come in, I just kind of pinch myself and be like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I can't wait to hear what it becomes, because it really is just his demo at his house doing it. And then it would grow into this amazing song that we have in the film. Do I have a favorite? I think I have about 8 favorites. It's a cop-out, I know, but they're all so good. All of the songs are so good in the film. It's hard to pick just one. but I think it depends on what mood I'm in.
Fair. I'm going to do one more for you. Describe the look of this film, big picture. How did Colombia inspire the filmmakers? I think you touched on this a little bit, but just a little more.
Colombia, the film is inspired by Colombia. And when Byron and Jared went down there on their research trip, they were so, they were able to see for themselves the beauty of the country and how diverse the country is, not only in the people and the ethnicities, but also in the biodiversity and how different all the different regions within Colombia is. And so when they came back and we really started building the world, it was a big push on the film to make sure that we are representing Colombia as beautiful as it is, and taking all the beautiful parts of it and really trying to squeeze it into one film. The film is 90 minutes, so we couldn't fit all of Colombia into the film, but we worked very hard to make sure that we were showing the beauty that we found throughout the country.
Clark, how is the house actually a character in this story? And what were the guidelines regarding how its magic actually works?
Just like the character of the water in Moana, which is a character, the house in Encanto is also a character. And from the beginning, the directors talked about the fact that they thought this would be an incredible way to bring this house to life in animation. But the complications of it are, you have to think about, well, how do you do that? They wanted truth in materials. They wanted to make sure it felt very real, that any movement that happened within the house could actually happen within a house, that it would be about floorboards and tiles and shelves moving. It wouldn't be about bending something that can't actually bend. So that requires a lot of work on our teams to come together to figure out, how do you actually animate that? How do you rig the prop or the property to actually be able to move that way? So there was an incredible amount of work done in it. But then you also have to think, how does that fit within the story? And I think that was the thing we spent a lot of time thinking about, which was, if the house is alive, is the house antagonist? Is the house in support of? Is the house sometimes in support of and sometimes against? Is the house giving advice? And so that was really the nuance we always tried to figure out, to make sure that the audience would believe that this house was doing things for the right reasons and fall in love with it, because that's the ultimate goal, is to make sure the audience falls in love with the house as a character. And I think the team has done an incredible job, and I'm excited for people to see it.
Great. Clark, how does Encanto represent the evolution of the Walt Disney Animation Studios?
Encanto is the 60th animated feature from Walt Disney Animation Studios, which is a pretty incredible thing to think about, that 60 animated feature films have been made over the course of 98 years. And as a piece of that, Encanto is both a reflection of the past and of the future. I think with respect to the future and it representing the future of Disney animation and animated films for that in general, it's really tapping into what we can do technically today. I mean, this film is stunningly visual when you see these characters and the diversity of the characters and the diversity of the hair and the textures and the layering of the cloth, all things we couldn't have done in the past. Really, it's showing where we have come as a studio technically. It's also talking about thematically things that are important in today's world, which is family, which has always been important, but understanding and perspective within a family. And if you're a character who believes somehow you don't belong, what does that mean? And how do you figure out who you are in a way that feels great, and that you have an understanding of that?